Hello and welcome back to Best of the Bets. I'm Christina Nicolaides and we're looking at Sunday's Premier League action. I have our regular guests with me. I have Sam Dymond, who is our football expert and editor of bestofthebets.com. How are you, Sam?
Very well.
Good. And Gareth Walker, who is our bookie extraordinaire. How are you doing, Gareth?
Not bad. I'd be better if this relegation battle was a bit closer.
We're going to start with Stoke versus Tottenham.
Yeah, starting off with the top four battle. That point at Chelsea has meant it's still alive.
Yeah.
For this one, Stoke 4.3, draw 3.5 and Tottenham are 1.9.
Stoke are safe. Their goal difference means they're not going to go down, which is disappointing for all of us. But they're still not very good. It's still been a very poor second half of the season, and I think a lot of questions need to be asked at boardroom level at the Britannia Stadium in the summer. And I just think, looking at Tottenham, they've got quite an impressive away record against those teams sort of in the middle of the table. I think, aside from Stoke, they've won away at all the teams between 8th and 15th. So another away win for Tottenham here. Try and take this battle for the top four to the last week of the season.
Yeah, every time Tottenham have been priced around 1.9, 2, 2.1, that sort of just shared odds on or just shared odds against, and the number of times they've delivered the goods. Not all of the time with a Gareth Bale last-minute winner, but seems like it. I think Stoke's season finished at half-time at the Stadium of Light. It was a strange second-half performance. Got the goal, 1-0 up against 10 men. And then rested. Sunderland with a better team in the second half, and it pains me to say that. So yeah, I think the fact that Stoke definitely are safe now. Yeah. They got to 40, but now they're on 41 with that point. And so I think Tottenham will edge it. The way I'd like to go is just to think that Tottenham will just win 1-0, which is priced at 6.1. Under 2 goals is priced at 2.5, so that's a winner if there's 0 or 1 goal. Yeah. Money back if there's exactly 2 goals. I think that's a way of looking at it, because I just don't really see Stoke creating much or really scoring, or one or both teams not to score, priced at 1.8. Always got to throw it out there. Gareth Bale to score the first goal, 4.2, short, but seems to cop every time we mention it. So yeah, I do think it'll be an away win, and it'll keep Chelsea and Arsenal on their toes. Yeah.
Definitely. We're moving on to bottom of the table, and we're going to look at those relegation battles. QPR versus Newcastle. Yeah,
QPR 3.35, draw 3.4, Newcastle 2.2. The whole of the North East celebrating Swansea's win on Tuesday, of course.
Yeah, and it is disappointing just from sort of wanting quite an exciting finish at the bottom that's the case. And I was so sure of a QPR winning this at half-time in that Wigan game, because if Newcastle, I think, had gone into this game in the bottom three on the same games played as everyone else for the first time this season, I think there'd been so much pressure on them that I don't think they would have risen to the occasion.
I'm not sure they can.
Either way, I think just with the pressure off Newcastle now, they can at least get something here. Yeah. QPR, they haven't scored in the last 4 games. They seem to already be, they're preparing for next season, releasing announcements that a manager under contract is going to be staying in his job. I'm not sure how that became newsworthy all of a sudden. But there is a side story here that I quite like, and it's the Loic Remy factor, obviously linked very heavily with Newcastle. It looked a certainty that he was going to be signing for them in the January transfer window, and then for some reason, I'm not quite sure what it would have been.
I can't think.
No,
it wouldn't be financial, I wouldn't have thought.
I wouldn't have thought so. Decided to join QPR, obviously.
Oh, we'll see where he'll be next season.
Well, it won't be at QPR. I doubt it'll be at Newcastle. But he's obviously come under sort of much scrutiny, and I dare say he'll be under or will be receiving end of a lot of abuse from the away end. But I think maybe he'll maybe rise to put that back down in Newcastle fans' throat, because I quite like him to score here. Yeah. Obviously, no goals for QPR at all in the last 4 games, but they got Zamora back, and I quite like Zamora and Remy together. So, Loic Remy, anytime goal scorer for me.
He's priced at 2.5. I mean, yeah, you can't state how much of a result for Newcastle that was in the week, because as it stands now, you'd think a point here for Newcastle, they'll be fine, because Wigan are going to have to, if Newcastle gets whatever Newcastle get here, Wigan are going to have to at least match at Arsenal. If Newcastle lose, they're still in massive bother and could be playing QPR again next season. But I think that there's been a couple of games recently where the draw just seems to be so useful and convenient for both teams. If the game was being played in Italy, I'm sure the price would be a lot shorter.
What use is the draw for QPR?
Well, it'll be a point.
Right.
they'll be very happy with that. I think Newcastle would love a point, and for whatever the club will say, I think they'd be happy to take the chance. If you offer them a point now, they'd have to just take that and assume Arsenal beat Wigan, and then Newcastle are guaranteed Premier League football. So yeah, whenever it's so convenient, that I always look at it. 3.4 is big. 1-1 priced at 6.8, or even 0-0 priced at 10.5.
Yeah.
I mean, QPR just conceded that goal in the first 30 seconds against Arsenal, and then I don't know. I've watched the game.
Not much pride.
I can't really remember what happened after that, really. But I mean, they've not won in 21 points in 23 games since Harry took over. They've not really improved, particularly on how bad they were at the start of the season. But yeah, maybe they can finish on something of a high with the pressure off. I guess a high for them is a draw at home to Newcastle. That's how bad things are. Draw definitely all day long for me, this one.
Okay, we're moving on to then Norwich versus West Brom.
Same scenario as Newcastle, basically. A point you'd think would be enough for Norwich, although... Yeah,
Can they get a point though against West Brom?
You look at the prices. Norwich at 2.1, draw 3.5, and West Brom 3.6. West Brom are playing quite an influential role in this relegation battle after last week.
Yeah, it's a similar case to the one Gareth makes for Newcastle, and the fact that they know a point here will mean that we can need 4 points from their final 2 games just to sort of give themselves a chance.
Yeah.
There's very little to get excited about with Norwich at the moment, but I think they can get a point here, so it's a draw for me.
Yeah, I think that the worrying stat for Norwich, no clean sheet in 7. And Norwich have got this problem. They go to Manchester City last game of the season. So they're in their heads, they'll be thinking, well, this is our last chance to get points. And of course, they'd love a victory. But the way the goal difference is, if they lose both games, then Wigan will catch them with a win against Villa last game. Yeah, again, it all points towards a draw here for me, because I don't think Norwich are good enough to win the game. West Brom put in a good performance against Wigan, and I think West Brom were very unlucky not to win that game, really.
Yep.
Only had 4 wins this year, but seem to have they're playing better in the last couple of weeks. I'll go with a draw, but I'd definitely I couldn't possibly back Norwich at 2.1. Whether they need to win or not, they're a chronic price for a team that have shown so little for so long.
Okay, so you've heard what the boys have had to say. Now, Mike Holden did back Norwich last week. Time to hear from him, and will he be backing him this week?
I think any bets where you're keeping the draw on side and taking on these teams that are just above the drop zone are looking like fairly solid bets. And the best of the bunch to me is West Brom for the trip to Carrow Road. The Baggies have had a fantastic season, look destined to finish in 8th position, regardless of what happens here. And they've kind of perked up a little bit in recent weeks with the performances, not necessarily with results, but they're certainly shown enough quality of late to suggest that they can get at least a point at Carrow Road, but possibly all 3.
Right, Gareth, so we've heard from Mike. He's changed his tune.
Well, I like the way he's looking at this game, definitely. West Brom, plus 0 on the Asian handicap, which is a draw, no bet, off-level ball, priced at 2.5. So if West Brom win, the bet to winner at 2.5 gets the massive insurance of money back if it's a draw. I do really like that bet.
Okay, next, Sunderland versus Southampton.
2.75 for Sunderland, draw 3.2. Southampton 2.75 as well, so it is absolutely take your pick.
A couple of weeks ago, this looked like an awful fixture for Sunderland on the horizon. Defeating it would really put them into big trouble. But just the way the things have panned out again with that Wigan defeat in midweek. Yeah. Again, a draw.
Every time it gets mentioned, it just hurts.
I know. It's there's so many reasons to be opposing Sunderland here. The fact that now Gardner is joining Fletcher and Sessegnon not being available, and that's 24 of the 40 goals that they've scored this season. Yeah. So, it's in terms of attacking, that's a big miss.
I think that Paladicani would love to win the last home game.
Well, would he? Would he love to win it, or will a draw be satisfactory for him? Yeah. This game screams unders for me all day, so I'm sort of looking at things like 0-1 on the goal crazy, maybe even no goal scorer.
0-1 on the goal crazy, which is priced at 3.1. No goal scorer priced at 8.6. Again, this draw of convenience screams out here. Two angles to go with it. Either the draw at 3.2. I mean, that price is short. You've got an Italian manager and an Argentinian manager. I think they're quite savvy enough to know that a draw suits both. I can't see how Southampton can go down from here, but a point will guarantee Sunderland's safety, although I think they're already safe due to their superior goal difference. Or the other way, the way I like to go for Southampton, the draw no bet. So it's the same bet Mike had for West Brom, plus 0 on the Asian handicap. Southampton are priced at 2. So if they win, you're getting paid out as a winner, and if it's a draw, you get your money back. And that insurance way of doing it is really good.
Moving on then, Fulham versus Liverpool.
3.9 for this one, draw 3.5, and Liverpool priced at 2.
I think quite a lot of Fulham fans sort of looked at this fixture and were quite concerned about it. But I just think Liverpool failing to beat Everton in the Merseyside derby has kind of ended their chances of catching them. So I think they've almost thrown in the towel as far as this season goes, and I think nothing sort of speaks greater volumes in that regard than the fact that now Steven Gerrard is going to have his surgery and he's going to be out for the final 2 games of the season. Yeah. Obviously Suarez is out too, and Danny Agger is also out injured. So 3 key players for them throughout the spine of the team, and suddenly I think Fulham have got a sniff in this game, which I couldn't see myself saying a week ago.
Are you coming to the game?
Yeah, I'll be there. They're not in great form. They've lost 4 in a row, which is the worst run in the Premier League. And they've also lost 3 at Craven Cottage in a row, which they don't do. Yeah. Home form traditionally quite strong. They haven't actually lost 4 home games in a row since the 1993-94 season, where they were actually relegated on the final day away at Swansea. I won't tell you where they are next weekend.
Okay. Yeah, even with the key absences for Liverpool, I like them at even money here, actually. I don't think they will have entirely thrown in the towel for 6th, because they can still catch Everton with 2 wins. They'll rely on Everton to slip up at home to West Ham, which we'll talk about in a sec. But I don't know, Liverpool sometimes when the pressure's off they either seem to score none or get a few. Yeah. So I'd be looking more at something like a 3-0 priced at 15. Glenn Johnson, Sam mentioned a couple of weeks ago, and was very unlucky not to get a return on that. Yeah. I'm going to go with him for first goal scorer here at 21.
OK, the final 2 games that we're looking at, they have been linked in the press by their managers. Everton versus West Ham, Manchester United versus Swansea. What do you want to look at first, Sam?
Well, originally these 2 games looked as if they had really nothing riding on it, but it would now.
I think I got an email with lots of zzz.
Well, and quite rightly, a terrible decision to be showing this game live. But suddenly there is a storyline, because
Sir Alex's final
home game.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a game I was particularly interested in. But now I can see United doing something sort of quite special, and scorelines about quite a big win. It looked very tempting to me. 4-0, 5-0, something like that. Certainly United on the handicap. Swansea, I think. Finally put in a performance of note at Wigan in terms of winning a game, but I think that's it from them really now. United, what price a late goal?
Well, United to win the game, 1.3, draw 5.5, and Swansea 11.
I expect a home win. And looking at Everton as well, we expect this to be David Moyes' last game before he takes over, and I think again home win, quite comfortable. Everton have won the last 4 at Goodison. Is it? No, last 5 at Goodison, I believe.
Yeah, they're in
And I quite like the double here with the 2 home winners, United and Everton.
Everton 1.5, draw 4.3, and West Ham 7.7. So that double, Everton and United, it's just a shared odds-on fitting end to the season. Although danger man to that, I think Andy Carroll priced at 11 to score the first goal.
Yeah.
I've been impressed with him recently. But yeah, if you like Everton, 2-0, 6.2, or they generally win by 1, don't they, Everton? Everton to win by 1 goal, priced at 3.5.
OK, best bets, Gareth,
I'm
Sunday.
I'm going to go for the draw, QPR against Newcastle.
Sam?
I'll go for the draw at Norwich then.
OK, I'm going to go for the double, Man United and Everton to win.
So that's Everton and Man United both to win, priced at 1.95.
So you've heard what we've had to say about Sunday's action. Remember, you can place your bets on our website, heavenbet.com, for all the latest odds. And it's not just football that you'll find there as well. Do join us same time, same place next week, and we shall see you then. Do you rate your powers of prediction? Well, now is your chance to prove it and win a prize. Log on to bestofthebets.com, and in the tips and advice section, you'll find 6 Premier League games discussed in the show. Predict home, draw, or away for each one, and 4 or more correct answers guarantees a prize. Good luck.